Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again to the often imitated, never duplicated, and if you wanted to, my God, why? This is GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're a regular, of course, we welcome you with open arms to our little fun fest that we put together every Friday night about this time. If you're new here, if this is your first time, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, as it were, this is this is about it. This is about as good as it gets. What we do, and we've been doing this for the last couple of years, is we've been pardon me, we've been getting together every Friday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and we just kind of just talk and relax, and we talk to each other, and we have a good time, and we even bring the chat to you. Yeah, see, if you're watching this live, you ain't got to go over there. You ain't got to go over there. No. We bring it right here to you. We bring it right here. Oh, yeah. We even worry, see, because we worry about your neck pain. Oh, yeah. We are caring people here on this show. So you can watch the chat from right over here. If you're watching the replay, you didn't miss anything over there. It's all happening right here. So if you're new, pop on in, say hi, tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. If you're watching the replay, comment down below. We will get back to you eventually. We really will. And that's not just a promise. That's a pledge. So anyway, a lot of things going on. Always glad to see people popping in to saying hi. By all means, pop on in because, well, first off, there's good news all the way around. There is good news all the way around tonight, fellow YouTuber, by all means. First off, people that are waiting for the Deadpool report, there is none this week. How's that for some good news? A lot of our idols are still hanging around, which is always a good thing. Also, at the same time, as we always do, we invite you to, as soon as we're done here, to head quick like a bunny over to Hugs 24/7 Radio online at hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com, where Cyrus Gray will be putting on the Top 10 Countdown. What is the Top 10 Countdown, you may ask yourself? Well, the Top 10 Countdown is the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, where we actually... Yes, Hugs Radio actually has their own chart. They have their top 200 chart. And we'll be more than glad to... We really want you to check it out because it is the top unsigned independent artists in the world. And the top 200 make this Hugs Top 200 chart. And Cyrus runs down the top 10. And that happens right after this show, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, over on Hugs 24/7 Radio, hugsatwrgg.com. So please check that out, won't you? Noreen Henry popping in saying hello. Hello, Noreen. Always glad to see you around. Yeah. So, pop on in. And please forgive me. I'm like, I feel the cold coming on. Have you ever had that happen to you? Where you're just walking, and you're talking to somebody, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, something's going on in here. That's what's happening right now to me. Don't know why, but that's what's happening right now. But that will not deter us from our commentary of the week. And boy, what a week it has been. Let's just call it what it is. It's been a very strange week. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that this is probably, well, let's face it, the nation has been consumed by this first story for the last couple of weeks. Social media has been very quick to follow it. Of course, television has been all over it. And finally yesterday, the story came to pass. Finally, what we had been following for so long came to its conclusion. And I feel a lot of people are better for it. Certainly the people involved are. And it's a good thing to know that our legal system and our justice system is still working. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. You know the top story of this week. Everybody knows it. Let's just get right to it. Gwyneth Paltrow won her skiing accident lawsuit. Yes, it's true. According to Variety, as of yesterday, Gwyneth Paltrow had been cleared of any wrongdoing in her ski crash trial of 2016, and she was awarded $1. It was $1 that she requested in a countersuit. Now, I'm sure you know as well as I do that this has captivated social media. It was televised for the last 2 weeks. And it all had to do with a man by the name of Terry Sanderson. Terry Sanderson was a 76-year-old retired optometrist who had sued Dear Gwyneth for $300,000, alleging that in 2016, the actor skied into him at Deer Valley Ski Resort, leaving him with a concussion, 4 broken ribs, and a brain injury. Bro, you had to be brain injured if you thought that you were going to go up against Gwyneth Paltrow in a courtroom. Paltrow I don't know if it was just to be funny or because she wanted to teach him a lesson or whatever the case may be, but she then countersued for $1 and attorney's fees. Now, to give you an idea, if you ever try to sue somebody, pay attention to what the judge says to you. Because according to this, Sanderson originally had sued for $3.1 million before a judge ruled against him seeking punitive damages. Even the judge was like, bro, seriously, think about this, okay? I don't think you got a case here. Now, I did learn something rather interesting. And that is that, and if you've been to Utah, please tell me if this is true or not. If you haven't, here's something new. Under Utah law, the downhill skier has the right of way. There is proper traffic protocol, even on the ski lifts of Utah. The state where, in the words of the late great Utah Phillips, where men and men and sheep are nervous. And the only virgin wool you find is way up in the mountains. Yeah, so under Utah law, the downhill skier has the right of way, but Gwyneth and Sanderson claimed that they were the one that was downhill at the time. Now, according to the court records and Variety and Rolling Stone, which we'll get to in a minute, Gwyneth testified first. And she told the 8-member jury that it was Sanderson who had crashed into her. In fact, at one point, Gwyneth went so far as to tell Sanderson straight out, "You skied directly into my effing back." Gwyneth Paltrow. She is woman, hear her roar. But she said that in her testimony, she recalled watching her children skiing down the slope when Sanderson hit her from behind. She said, "I was skiing and two skis came between my skis, forcing my legs apart. And then there was a body pressing against me." Terry, what were you doing? "My brain was trying to make sense of what was happening," Gwyneth went on to say. "I thought, is this a practical joke? Is somebody doing something perverted?" And then, of course, if you had followed along with the trial, and indeed, who didn't? Me, for a start. Sanderson took to the stand on Monday telling the jury, and this is a quote, "I just remember everything was great, and then I heard something I've never heard at a ski resort, and that was a blood-curdling scream." You ain't been to some of the parties I've been to, Terry. He went on to say he was hit in the back at the shoulder blades and went flying, and everything then went black. Attorney Robert Sykes said in his closing argument, and this is according to Rolling Stone, "He never returned home that night as the same man." You can hear a guy saying this in court. Think about any court episode of The Simpsons you may have seen. "Terry has tried to get off that mountain, but he's really still there. Part of Terry will forever be on that bandana run." Oh. According to Rolling Stone, Paltrow seemingly went along with it all. They let her walk away with her dollar bill and a newfound crop of internet besties. It says here. During the closing arguments, her attorney, Steve Owens, acknowledged that she could have simply settled outside of court, but asked, "What would that teach her children? It's not about the money. It's about ruining a very delicate time in a relationship where they were trying to get their kids together." During the trial, the court heard excerpts of statements given by Paltrow's children, Apple and Moses. Let me repeat those names. If you thought Abby Hoffman and Grace Slick named their kids weird. Apple and Moses Martin. Because remember, for a while, she was married to Chris Martin, Coldplay superstar musician. Apple was around 11 or 12 at the time of the alleged collision in 2016, said her mother had been in a state of shock. She came in and I noticed she looked a bit shocked. And I asked what happened. She said, "This a-hole ran right into my back." And anybody, what's even funnier is anybody who has watched if you've seen any of the clips on YouTube, if you've seen anything of it on court TV, Sanderson's lawyer, and I don't even have her name, and I wish I did, because she was just fangirling all over Gwyneth. She was all over her, which was really, really weird. I mean, she was asking her about her height, about, talking about high heels, ski outfits, and, she's just going crazy. But, Gwyneth's people, or her attorney, was preparing to present the jury with travel photos from Sanderson's Facebook page post-collision. The images featured Sanderson floating along the Amazon in Peru and a photo of him with a moose during a hike. Yeah, Tare. Here's a quick tip for you. If you're going to screw over the Hollywood elite, don't post the good times on social media. Just throwing it out there. The evidence contradicted his claims that he suffered a loss of enjoyment of life from the incident. In addition to the symbolic damage payout of $1, Gwyneth was also awarded the costs and her attorney's fees to defend this meritless claim, as the initial lawsuit requested. Any additional funds potentially awarded by the jury will be donated to a charitable organization. And what made it even worse, and I read this today, that as she was leaving, after, everything was said and done, and the jury was dismissed, and the case was dismissed, and the court was dismissed, Gwyneth walked up behind this guy and just whispered in his ear, "I wish you well." Now, is that a slap in the face or what? You gotta love that. You gotta love that. So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. The biggest case on tap this week. Gwyneth Paltrow. She won her skiing case. What? Today being Friday, as of the time of this live broadcast, maybe another day where you're at. But if it's live and you're into this sort of thing, one of the things that you may want to know that's going to be happening on Sunday, April 2nd, and to show that, we're equal opportunity here on GainerWorld, but we just wanted to let you know that the CMT Music Awards is going on Sunday night. It will be starting at, I want to say 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Yeah. Of course, that will be, it'll be shown on CBS. But there's going to be something really cool that's going to be happening during this particular show. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a big country fan. I mean, I think I can count on maybe both my hands the number of country songs that I really like. But there is something that's going to be happening that I think is very, very cool. And that is that there's going to be an all-star cast that's going to be paying tribute to Leonard Skinner on the show. Now get ready for this. This is a pretty good lineup. Billy Gibbons, Slash, Warren Hayes. Of course, Slash being from Guns N' Roses, Billy Gibbons being from ZZ Top, Warren Hayes played with Government Mule. They are all going to be plugging in for a performance of 2 yet-to-be-named Skynyrd songs. One of them, and come on, how we ain't all that stupid, guys, okay? Depending upon how much time CBS gives you, I think it's all, relatively safe to say where this one's going to go. Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird, hello. Texas country star Cody Johnson and Bad Company's Paul Rogers are going to be doing the vocals. Chuck Lavelle, who is a great keyboardist, played with the Rolling Stones, played with the Allman Brothers, C-Train. He's also going to be in the band, along with bassist Ethan Filzer and drummer Rich Redmond. There's even going to be, get ready for this, they're even going to be reassembling a resemblance of the Honkettes, the all-female backup that Skynyrd used to use. And that's going to be with Winona Judd and Leanne Rimes. This is going to be a pretty good performance, I have to admit. So the salute to Skynyrd is twofold. It marks the 50th anniversary of the band's debut album back in 1973. And it remembers Gary Rossington, who died back on March 5th, the last original member of Leonard Skinner. Today, and I guess I had been questioning this for a while. I was wondering whether or not, the band was going to go on without Gary Rossington. But right now, the band, I guess, is ready. Johnny Van Sant, Ronnie's younger brother, of course, he's carrying on as lead vocalist. And Ricky Medlock, who has been with the band for about 20 years now, is still going to be on guitar. They'll both be at the CMTs, along with Gary Rossington's widow, Dale Rossington. And allegedly, according to this, Skinner is going to be on a tour with ZZ Top this July. Now that show could be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's something for you to look forward to. And in case you're wondering about the rest of the show, Kane Brown and Kelsey Ballerini are going to co-host. Other notable performances will include Alanis Morissette collaborating with Ingrid Andress, Lainey Wilson, Madeline Edwards, and Morgan Wade, along with Gwen Stefani joining Carly Pierce, and the Black Crowes recreating She Talks to Angels with Darius Rucker. Isn't this supposed to be a country show? Is it me, or is like 3/4 of the lineup that I just mentioned a bunch of rockers? I don't remember Alanis Morissette making it on the country top 40. Or Gwen Stefani. Darius Rucker, yeah, that I can see. But the Black Crowes? I don't know. Kind of weird if you're asking me. Kind of weird. Checking the tote board here. Our own Cyrus Gray. Evening. Did I miss the Deadpool? You know, Cyrus, you're the only person I know that comes in late when I tell you that there's no Deadpool. I announce that there's no Deadpool, and suddenly you're up 15 minutes later going, where's the Deadpool? And this will also give the average viewer an idea of the company that I keep and why I do such weird segments on this show. Let's see. Wayne Swinney kicked off. Wayne Swinney kicked off. Who is Wayne Swinney? Certainly sorry to hear that. Who the heck is Wayne Swinney? Oh, from Saliva. Dude, that was 2 weeks ago. Where have you been? People are doing that. Let me just stop right here, because there is something I do need to address. There are people that are kind enough, and I say that in the most morbid way, of contacting me and letting me know that certain people, and this really, it does help when you guys do this, and thank you very much, and I appreciate it, and keep the cards and letters coming. But there are people that think that they're helping me by going, dude, I just saw this in the paper. This guy died. And it turns out people that died like 3 weeks, 2 months ago, or people that have nothing to do with reality whatsoever. So like, you know, like Wayne Swinney. Okay. And yeah, he was from Saliva, you know, he was a guitar player from Saliva. And yes, you know, it's a drag that he's gone. But somebody, and I almost fell for this, I got to tell you. It'll give you an idea of just how much I've been doing this over the course of the last couple of years. I had somebody send me an article about a certain actor who passed away like on my birthday last month. And I looked and said, oh, wow, man, wow, he's gone. That's really a drag. And then I looked at the date and went, wait a minute. So to the people that do send me that stuff, again, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. You know, I'm not putting you down for anything. I do appreciate the effort. However, when you see something that you think may be of interest to the show, please check the date on the article when you send it. Chances are we've either A, talked about it, B, knew about it, or C, has nothing to do with reality. So there's that. Okay? I'm just saying, just a little public service from me to you. Thank you so much. Talking about the CMTs, there is one thing that is not going to take place this year, and that is the American Music Awards. The American Music Awards, according to one of the greatest websites titles I've read in a long time. This comes from Baller Alert. I swear that's the name of the site. And it says that you will not see the American Music Awards this year. It is expected to go on a 1-year hiatus. Apparently, they're usually held on the third week in November, which in this case would be Sunday, November 19th. But it has now been announced that that the Billboard Music Awards will be rescheduled this year to that same date. So it looks like the American Music Awards are going to be off this year. There's several sources that report that both live events have yet to secure a broadcast partner. Leading producer Dick Clark Productions, a subsidiary of Penske Media, to determine which show to support. Apparently, old Dick had his hands in too many pies, because now they can't figure out which show to go after, to sell. According to insiders, according to Baller Alert, the reasoning behind the decision was likely to promote the in-house brand of PMC, Penske Media, which owns Billboard. In addition, the good folks, of course, at a longtime partner of the AMAs, which of course is ABC, they weren't informed of the change until it was made public on March 15th. So that was about a week ago. So, yeah. According to insiders, the reasoning behind the decision was likely to promote that. A source familiar with the matter says that no agreements have been reached regarding the renewal of a contract for the AMAs. So that could be a drag. According to the Billboard folks, sources verify that the good folks over at NBC which had been broadcasting the Billboard Music Awards since 2018, as a matter of fact, didn't acquire the rights to air it this year. So instead, NBC is concentrating on expanding the People's Choice Awards franchise, which includes, of course, the new People's Choice Country Awards, which is scheduled for September. And you may recall, of course, it was the late, great Dick Clark who invented the AMAs, as if you really needed to know this, back in the mid-'80s. So there you have that going for you. You'll actually get a rest from finding out if BTS and Taylor Swift will be winning those coveted awards this year. But you can always tune in to the Billboard Awards. Sunday, November 19th. By our good friends at ABC. We've got news on all kinds of... your Intel is off. What do you mean my Intel is off? I have Intel inside, pal. Let me tell you. Okay? But be that as it may, we've got information. If you're making plans for this summer, of course, it is getting to be springtime. So we're going to be talking about summer festivals, as well as a surprise that is coming up on Netflix that you may or may not know about. We'll get into that in a minute when we come back. And apparently we are back because we don't have the suggested commercial that we were going to put in. Oh well. Don't you just love the beauty of live television? Yeah. Okay. Explain to me. You keep telling me my intel is off. Okay. Cyrus is just mad at me because I didn't mention the saliva story. It was 10 days ago, bro. Call Studio A. They fix our stuff daily. So I've heard. It's what happens when you clean your files out a little too early. But as I said, one of the things that, pardon me, one of the things that's going to be happening this summer, and it's become quite a mainstay here in the great city of Chicago. And there's some years it's great, some years it isn't, but this year is looking like it's going to be really good. And we've got the skinny on it. Of course, I am talking about everybody's favorite summertime party in Chicago, Lollapalooza. This may be one of the best concerts, one of the best festivals going down this year. And as always, one of the things that we always talk about here on this show is tickets. We all know what's going on with Ticketmaster thing right now. We're not even going to talk about that. But what we are going to talk about is if you want tickets which are supposed to be going on sale, if they're not on sale already, there are ways that you can do this. Okay? First off, just so you know, if you've never heard of it, it's Lollapalooza is just an amazing festival. They've been doing this here in Chicago for like the last 20 years. It happens in Grant Park, historic Grant Park in downtown Chicago. Goes on for 4 days. This year it's going on between August 3rd and August 6th. And good people, good bands playing this year. Got to admit, this one's going to be a good one. Headlining acts are going to be the likes of people like Kendrick Lamar, Billie Eilish, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Odesha, Lana Del Rey, Karol G, the 1975, who I love. I think they're a great band. Tomorrow Times Tomorrow will also be in there as well. Also, people like Fred Again, Noah Kahan, A Boogie with the Hoodie, J.I.D., Maggie Rogers, Carly Rae Jepsen is going to be on this show, along with Diplo, 30 Seconds to Mars. How's that? Thames, The Rose, Rina Sawayama, Lil Yachty. Gotta love Lil Yachty. Rima, Morgan Wade, Lainey Wilson, Ivan Corneo, Sudan Archives, all kinds of people. Just an amazing lineup. And actually, I said it was going on for 20 years. It's gone on for 30. 30 years as of 2021. And it's going to be on 9 stages from that Thursday, August 3rd through Sunday, August 6th. Now, if you want tickets, and I know you can, I know you do, I see it in your eyes. There are 4-day general admission tickets still available at the Lollapalooza website. Forget about Ticketmaster, forget about Live Nation, forget about all of those rip-off second tier, we'll let you buy tickets, but you'll pay $28,000 just to sit on a lawn for 3 days tickets. Go right to the Lollapalooza website. Here's what's up. Tier 1 price is for 4-day general admission tickets. That's for all 4 days. Okay? If you want to just get in during the weekend, 2-day passes are $250 each. 1-day passes are going to cost you $125. But Tim, the rising cost of tickets. Did I mention that there's going to be over 40 bands? I mean, 9 stages. Hello. This is well worth it. And if this isn't enough for you, if you can't really handle it, the festival is also offering layaway plans. Now, this is a great idea. It's about time somebody did this. They're offering layaway payment plans starting as low as $25 a month. You can lay away tickets for Lollapalooza. How cool is that? Seriously now. Seriously. I mean, you gotta love that. For 4 days, layaway tickets for 4 days of close to, 60 bands? Really, you gotta love it. Now, if the tickets sell out, which they're saying is very, very likely at this point, you can still snag tickets on resale sites such as Vivid Seats, but you and I both know that you don't want to do that. Unless it's one of those sites where you actually, where the people, not the brokers are reselling them. People can't go, so they're like, okay, you can buy these at face value. There are a few of those. And if you can't make it to the festival in person, according to Variety, you'll most likely be able to live stream the acts on Hulu. Get ready for this. They have 2 streams. They had 2 streams running last year. And right now they're in the middle of a deal to live stream select Lollapalooza performances exclusively to its SVOD subscribers this year. Now, I also happen to know that, you've got bands like, you've got festivals like Coachella, and the likes that, that somebody will stream it live on YouTube. So I'm kind of hoping that kind of happens at the same time. So yeah, here's hoping. I think that's a great idea. I'm especially stoked about that layaway plan. So yeah, Lollapalooza returns to the great city of Chicago, August 3rd through the 6th. Tickets on sale by going to the Lollapalooza website, lollapalooza.com. Definitely get involved. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun 4 days. Check in the tote board, because I haven't checked that for quite a while here. Cyrus is saying, Noreen says that's cool. Yes, I think so too. I got to agree with that. So what you're saying is if I donate a kidney, I might be able to stay the whole weekend to see 40 bands. Hugsfest is 50 bands plus under $50. Okay. As much as I appreciate your promotion, as much as I appreciate the fact that we do stuff for the unsigned artist, I get it. You're looking at 4 days of about 100 bands, 100 top flight bands for about that same price. Okay? Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'd go. I'd totally go. I love the Chili Peppers. I think they're terrific. You're biased. No kidding, you're biased. Tell me about it. There is okay. You want bias? I'll give you bias. Yesterday, the founders of Coachella, get ready for this one. I'm also cheap. Cyrus, buddy, if you admit the problem, we're on the road to the solution. Just throwing it out there, pal. So yesterday, and this is one that I'll tell you honestly, this is one I'm intrigued in. In fact, my son Eric mentioned on Facebook that what he wants for Christmas is about $600 so he can go to this festival. What festival, you might ask? Well, according to Variety, the founders of Coachella have announced the lineup for what is probably going to be another one-off. I mean, you might remember, what was it, the Desert Trip Festival back in 2016, where the Stones played and Paul McCartney one night, and then Neil Young and Bob Dylan the next night, and that went on for a couple of weeks. Well, they put together, I guess you could call it a kind of a metal lineup for the same kind of festival. It's called the Power Trip. And this is going to be taking place pretty much on the same place as the Desert Trip, which is the Empire Polo Grounds in Indio, California. This is going to take place from October 6th through the 8th. And this, I got to tell you, this is an interesting lineup. The lineup has been announced. It is going to be, read along with me here, kids, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Ozzy's going to play, yes, the Prince of Darkness himself that said he was going to retire. Ozzy Osbourne's playing this one, along with AC/DC, Iron Maiden, and Tool. All of the news leaked earlier in the week is accurate, according to Variety. What's going to be happening is Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden are going to be performing on Friday night, and that's October 6th. AC/DC and Ozzy will be there on Saturday the 7th, and then the show closes with Metallica and Tool on Sunday. That's one hell of a show. That's one hell of a show. I don't care what you tell me. It's a small lineup, but again, remember how they did this, but they did it for 2 weeks with Desert Trip. So Power Trip is going to be like wowzers. This is going to be really something. But they're talking long sets. The acts are all multi-decade veterans, according to Variety. Most have been actively touring in recent years. And the thing that gets me is Ozzy has said he's going to play. Even though you might remember about a month ago, we ran the story of his retirement where they just said, listen, the back pain is too much. I got to get off the road. But he found the stamina to go for it. And this is a one-off concert. So it might be less of a challenge for him, just to do a one-off than like a full tour. I can respect that. If you can do it, Oz, God love you. I'd love to see this. Of course, all the other acts, they've been on the road. They've been playing for the longest time. In fact, some of them are going on tour together this year. Guns N' Roses kicked off a bunch of times for Iron Maiden. In fact, Axl Rose, you might remember Axl Rose playing with AC/DC for the longest time. So, yeah, this could be a good one. This could be quite a good one. Keep your eyes open for this. And when tickets are going to be going on sale for this, the Power Trip happening in Coachella's home base of the Empire Polo Grounds in Indio, California, October 6th through the 8th. That is going to be a major show. That's going to be a major show. I like that. I'm down with that kind of stuff. Someone get a hold of Scott Pilgrim of Yuga Diga. He'll have his inside input for tickets. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I'd like to go. I think that'd be a great. But then again, I wanted to go to the Desert Trip too. But again, these, and it goes back to how much tickets are going to be. There's obviously going to be full 3-day packages, which are going to have to include like camping or accommodations or something like that. I'm sure that they'll put on, a program or, packages similar to Coachella. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see that. It'll be interesting to see where that one goes. But I'm looking forward to that. And Eric wants $600 so he can go. That wacky kid. I tell you what. Speaking of the kids, something that came up yesterday that had been leaked sometime last year that this may be coming true. And I found out yesterday that this is actually happening. If you are a fan of the series of books or even the 2010 movie Scott Pilgrim, which my sons, I'm going to admit it, my sons actually forced me to watch. And I always thanked them for it because I really thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was really interesting. Scott Pilgrim versus the World was a really, really good movie. But that was back in 2010. Nothing's really been done. But according to Variety, as reported as being in development at Netflix in January of last year, Scott Pilgrim, the anime, is officially been ordered to the series. They are going to start production. This is going to be on Netflix. And what makes it even better is that they are bringing back the entire cast to voice this cartoon series. I'm talking the entire cast. Michael Cera, who played Scott Pilgrim, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was Ramona Flowers, Satya Baba, who played Matthew Patel, Kieran Culkin, who played Wallace Wells. All of them. And there's going to be, pardon me. And there's also going to be a additional cast members that they're going to be announcing at a later date. Brian Lee O'Malley, who created the novel series, is co-writing it. So they're keeping this so close to home. I think it's a fantastic idea. Brian Lee O'Malley is also going to executive produce the anime series along with Ben David Grabinski. And they're going to be serving as the co-showrunners of this. Science SARU. I don't know what that means. Somebody help me out if they know this. Science Saru. They're going to provide the animation for this. And Yoon Young Choi of Science Saru will executive produce along with Abel Gongora. He's on board to direct the animation. And Edgar Wright, who directed and co-wrote the film, is going to executive produce via Complete Fiction alongside Nira Park. So, I mean, they are literally bringing back the entire crew, the entire cast to do this anime series. Mark Platt, Jared LaBeouf, and Adam Siegel of Mark Platt Productions will executive produce, as well as Michael Bacall. UCP will produce, according to Variety. O'Malley and Grabinski said in a tweet, "We're getting the band back together." Sarah and Winstead, Baba, Culkin, Evan, Kendrick, Larson, Pill, Plaza, Routh, Schwartzman, Simmons, Weber, Whitman, and Long. All of them are going to be back together. A stellar cast, perfectly assembled by Edgar Wright, and with Science Saru, whatever that is, leading the phenomenal animation. We couldn't ask for a better team for this adventure. We can't wait for fans and newcomers alike to see what we and our partners have been cooking up. It's going to be a wild ride. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's pretty doggone cool, you got to admit. The novels, in case you don't know what this is all about, you've heard the name Scott Pilgrim. It was a terrific movie. It really was. And it follows the novels follow Scott, who is a slacker and bassist, according to Variety, living in Toronto. Because as we all know, all slackers and bassists live in Toronto. He falls in love with a girl named Ramona Flowers, but first must defeat her 7 evil exes so that they can date. 6 volumes of the graphic novel were published. The most recent dropped in 2010. Of course, that's when they released the film. And this thing has just taken off out of nowhere. Quite the cult following for our pals. Yeah. One of the proudest, according to Wright, Edgar Wright, he says, and I quote, "One of the proudest and most enjoyable achievements of my career was assembling and working with the dynamite cast of Scott Pilgrim. Since the film was released in 2010, we've done Q&As, remembrances, charity reads, and there was never the occasion to reunite the whole gang for an actual project until now. Original creator Brian Lee O'Malley, along with writer Ben David Grabinski, have conjured up an anime series of Scott Pilgrim that doesn't just expand the universe, but also ... Well, just watch it. I'm more than happy to announce that I've helped coax the entire original cast back to voice their characters on this epic new adventure. You are in for a treat." Yeah. "It's official," said Choi. "We've been obsessed with Scott Pilgrim. This series has been a wild ride full of fresh and thrilling experiences for everyone at Science SARU. And I'm being told of a severe thunderstorm warning, which is in effect for my area until 9 o'clock. Okay, good times. And I've got 7 minutes to kill off the show before I get killed off myself. All right, gotta love it. Don't you love live television? So yeah, they're saying you're in for a treat. This series has been a wild ride full of fresh and thrilling experiences for everyone at Science SARU, working with such amazing artists and animators under the visionary leadership of director Abel Gongora. It's been an absolute dream come true. Our team is over the moon about bringing Scott Pilgrim back to life. We can hardly contain our excitement. This is gonna be epic." I'm inclined to agree. I'm looking forward to this one. I really am. Again, I had heard about Scott Pilgrim. My boys were crazy about Scott Pilgrim. They went out and saw the movie, and when they finally when it finally came out on DVD, they literally sat me down to watch it. They sat me in a room and said, "You are going to watch this movie." And yeah, I have. I got to admit, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time, and yeah, I appreciate the fact that I appreciate the fact that they did that, and now I'm a fan. So now I got to watch this. It's in production right now. There's no words on when this is going to be released. I can tell you that it is going to be on Netflix, so stay tuned. That's about the best that I can tell you at this point. And we'll know more about that as time goes on. I'm getting all these messages about severe thunderstorms in my area. It is springtime. It is springtime here in the great city of Chicago, and we all know what that means. What that means essentially is you don't know what's going to happen for the next 4 weeks. As a matter of fact, it was 63 degrees this afternoon in Chicago, Fahrenheit. And it's going to go down to, to 30. There's supposed to be an inch of snow tomorrow. This is what I'm talking about in Chicago. You got to love it. You got to love it. But, and Cyrus is saying, hold on to the antenna. You need to be grounded. Yeah, I know. I understand that. And also, anytime I mention a new film, he comes right out. Spinal Tap 2 is already filming. Yes, you're right. Spinal Tap 2 is already filming. It is not finished. When I have more news on Spinal Tap 2, I will pass it along to you, the viewer, the fan. I'm only one man, damn it. I am interested in knowing when they are going to finish that, though. I am very interested in knowing. But the fact that Carl Reiner's working on that too, yeah, that's only a good thing. Can you get me a pre-screening pass? No. It's hard enough for me to get a pre-screening pass. Are you kidding me? Man, when we were doing the podcast, Chris and I were all about that. Nah, who are you guys? No, you ain't going to get that stuff. That's not a problem. Yeah, you ain't going to get that. No way. One thing that you can do, though, that I will remind everybody as soon as we get off the air here, please rush quick like a bunny over to another website, and that is hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com. Our own Cyrus Gray, who's getting ready to bug out because he knows a guy, he is going to be presenting the Hugs Top 10 Countdown. What is the Hugs Top 10 Countdown, you ask? It is the countdown of the top 10 unsigned independent artists in the world. Yes, Hugs does have a chart, a music chart of unsigned independent artists. It is the Hugs Top 200 chart. We have it. We encourage musicians to try to get on it and submit your work to us all of the time. So please do that. And at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, every Friday night, Cyrus goes on with the Hugs Top 10 Countdown. Join him for that this evening, won't you? Yes, Cyrus, you are. That's what I got to do. Glad to see the medication starting to kick in. Yes, why don't you go run over there? And we'll all join you over there later. Hugs@wrgg.com. Hugs 24/7 Radio, the home of the unsigned artist. The Hugs Top 10 Countdown with Cyrus Gray every Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, on another piece of bandwidth. You forgot that too. Yeah, I know. Whatever. Boy'd forget his own head if it wasn't tacked on straight. So anyway, so that's what's happening. And that gives us time to get on out of here, as a matter of fact. We appreciate you joining us as we do every single Friday night. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. We certainly do appreciate it. Come on into the live chat if you ever want to, or comment down below. Let us know what you think of the show. We listen to everybody. Why? Hey, it's how we roll. Just that simple. In the meantime, thank you again for watching. I certainly do appreciate it. My name is Tim Gainer. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. If you like the show, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We out. Bye.